Hello, how you doing? I'm doing well, doing the best I can. Thank you for asking. Today's topic, the fundamental truth to everything in the conceivable universe. I'm just gonna say it straight up for a too long didn't watch audience, short form content seekers. This is it. We are all just actors in a cosmic play. Life is just a show. The universe is giving itself. Life is entertainment for the universe. The universe is God. The universe is consciousness. You are God. You are consciousness. It's that simple, really. You can choose what role you want to play, but the systems are already in place. And to try and break the cycle is futile. You will just bring more misery and more pain and more corruption instead of just letting things work out the way they do. So, how does this relate to our modern world and our current situation? And when I say the world, I mostly mean America, but other countries are definitely joining the race of corruption because America, everybody follows America's footsteps almost. But one of the oldest religions in the world, Zoroastrianism, I believe, is the name. All it was, there are two fundamental forces in the universe, good and evil. That is it. That's it. You can choose what you want to be, but to try and just rewrite it all is just pointless. And you see that with people calling for revolution and dismantling of the powers that be, but it'll just result in the same thing. Animal Farm. That's a really great, you know, that's a great book about it. It's the same lesson. Just revolt won't change anything. The best thing we can do to try and change the world is just engage with it. Stop separating yourself from nature. You are part of nature. You're a human being. You're an animal. You're not special. So, you're not special. What do I mean by that? Got to rephrase this shit again. You're just a monkey with a superiority complex. Plain and simple. You think you're not, but you are. You're just a monkey for real. Perfect real world example to really tie this together. Bonobos and chimpanzees. They were thought to be the same species for a long time. Now we consider them subspecies of a common ancestor, like, the fork in the road, the split off, right? And what caused that split off, let me tell you. The split was the Congo River. One side is abundant and fruitful, one side is scarce. One side is able to engage in, just living with the land. One has to fight for their resources. Chimpanzees have a very patriarchal, warmongering society, whereas bonobos tend to have a feminist, free love village. They work with each other. They solve problems through communication, physical intimacy. Chimpanzees see another tribe of chimps with resources, and they go, "I want that. Fuck you. I'm going to kill you and eat your babies, so my tribe can exist." Right? It's tribalism versus village living. I don't know what to call that. But again, once you realize that we just some monkeys, and you look at those monkeys and you see the differences, it helps put it into the bigger picture. And this is where I'm going to get into trouble if I don't watch my words. Think about the Holocaust. Why was it called the Holocaust? Do you ever think about that? What does that word mean? It comes from the Hebrew word holocaustum, which means a burnt offering, a sacrifice. Right? What does that mean? Well, traditionally people would see, you think of a sacrifice as something to offer the gods, as worship, as, to say thanks, to, ask for resources. You give a sacrifice, right? But what it really is, at the end of the day, it's a symbolic representation of the duality of life and death, and the fragile nature, the fragile balance of living with nature, right? And once you become too reliant on technology, once you become too reliant on your man-made creations versus working with the earth, things start to fall apart. Your resources start to dwindle, all this and that. So then you commit a sacrifice to, it's meant to be a symbol for the community. Whether it's an animal, it's to show, yeah, we've gone beyond our means. We need to restore balance within nature, within us. So they would sacrifice an animal, or even like a baby. Like, it's fucked up, but that's what it was for. That was the purpose of sacrifice, right? But we don't have that anymore. We don't live within communities. Like, we don't live within like small communities, right? We are now global. We are a global empire. So you can't have a leader just go, okay, it's time for a sacrifice, you know? Because killing all the animals, what will that do? That'll just dwindle resources. We've gone beyond the symbolic nature of animal sacrifice. So now we move on to human sacrifice. So you can't just go around saying that we need to kill a bunch of people to restore balance, because that's fucked up. That's not right. It's not. It's just not. I'm not even trying to justify it. But with the systems in place, you can't do that. We don't have a tribal leader anymore to say we need to commit a sacrifice, because it's a global empire. So what you need to do is you need to demonize a group of people, you know, immigrants, LGBT, whatever you want to call it, whatever the undesirables are to the powers that be. They create hate campaigns to rally support for extinction. It's the 5 stages of genocide, right? And genocide is just modern day equivalents to old world sacrifice. That's all it is. Same shit, different toilet. Um, so the only way that we can fix this, revolting will do nothing. It'll just bring about more violence, more war, more sorrow. Doing nothing will do nothing. Accepting that just the way things are, will do nothing. It's in God's plan. That'll do nothing. What you do, you engage with the community locally. You don't try to fix the whole fucking country. That's stupid. That'll do nothing. You won't change minds because there's too much fragmentation. You start small. Work with the community. Talk to people. Don't talk to people with the goal of changing their mind or perspective. Don't talk to them with the goal of changing your perspective. Talk to them with the goal of just listening and gaining perspective. We're all doing this. Everything is, all spiritual practice is just, it's all different routes to the same destination. Science, secularism, religion, theology, they're the same shit. Modern science is just rediscovering ancient wisdom and reframing it, because now we can explain the technicalities of it. We can explain the intricacies, the fun. We can explain it. We can intellectualize it. But at the end of the day, we're just rediscovering the same shit. The best mindset to have is embracing the philosophy of astrotheism, which is the idea that the old world, they weren't fucking stupid. They knew what they were talking about. They just didn't understand the science of it, like down to where we do, where you can describe like particles and quantum physics and all that. They didn't understand that. They called it God. Nowadays, we think, oh yeah, we're rediscovering, we're figuring everything out, but we're just rediscovering it and breaking it down and realizing what it is. And then that creates a divide between religion and science, because you can be spiritual and scientific, but once you're in like that cult mindset, which is what American Christianity is, it's a cult, it's a capitalistic death cult. Once you're in that mindset, you can't agree with each other, right? And then that's when you start spiraling into conspiracy theory, into just schizophrenia, straight up delusion, psychosis, all that shit. You need to be able to see the bigger picture and read between the lines and see the nuance between things and realize that we are all one. That doesn't mean individuality doesn't exist. That just means we're all part of the same bigger picture, and to break the cycle is futile. You are just an actor. Life is a play. The universe is the producer and the viewer. That's it. So try and do your best. Love is the answer to everything. Just try and love people, give them grace, all that shit. You don't have to give labels to it. That's all I got to say. I think that concludes everything. Now I just need to edit this down into a digestible format. Let's see what happens. American Christianity is a capitalist death cult. Don't forget it. But Jesus was the GOAT. Jesus got all too Christian nowadays.